gentlemen. How are you tonight? Welcome to the night crew.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Hello, Steve.
Hello, hello. We got Bob with us, Mike, and Kentucky guy, and Doug. And they may be one or two others drop in, but if they do, they do. If they don't, that's okay too. So, is everybody trying to keep cool? Are you doing any good at it?
It's very, very hot here in the beautiful state of Kentucky. Very hot.
Yeah. I think you got up to 92 here. I'd say Doug probably be the solid. Probably got 120 in Texas.
No, well, only 107 today.
Oh, is that all? Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, you're about on par with the ocean in Miami. They were 101.
100.
We had high 90s for a while, but last night it was 57. So we're getting we had all the Canadian heat with the smoke from the fires. Now we got all the Canadian cold, and it's amazing, no smoke. But it's the same wind tunnel, just cold air and no smoke.
Yeah. Well, just think in the wintertime, anytime you hear the word Canadian in the weather prediction, it's never good. It's either Canadian blast or Canadian freeze or something. So, anyway, what shall we talk about first tonight, gentlemen? I guess the most obvious thing is what happened down in Georgia today, huh? Here they had a little indictment today down in Georgia.
I think they had the booking today. I was trying to see his mugshot that came up.
And
next to
you
one.
probably won't see that.
It's out there. They just put it out.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it would be released.
In his 3-piece suit, and then he'll make a press conference afterwards.
How about the rallies? Were there any big rallies or?
Yes, there
Yeah.
were a lot of protesters outside on both sides.
Were they big or?
I don't know how many there were, but I'm sure we'll hear all about it for next 10 days. So this is his fourth indictment, in case you've lost count. Charges stemming from his and allies' efforts to overturn the state's 2020 election. Typically, defendants who get booked at the jail are searched, undergo a medical screening, get fingerprinted, and a mugshot. Trump agreed Monday to post $200,000 as a condition of his release, which is chump change for him. He's not allowed to threaten defendants or communicate with the other defendants. You would think that would go without mentioning, but apparently it didn't. Somebody have a radio on?
Well, I had the TV.
Your microphone's
just
good. It's
turned it
picking
down.
it up.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the mugshot right now, and he's
Oh, you are?
yeah. We should put this. You can tell he looks real happy. We should put that on a T-shirt or something.
Well, they were already coming up with mugshots and circulating them around on some of his side of the news channels before he even went there.
Yeah, I just seen the mugshot. Love it. Love it. Giuliani's, his, and Meadows.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's I think that's a new campaign poster probably for him. You know,
I want it on a T-shirt.
I saw a search for that already. Trump mugshot T-shirts. Those enterprising individuals all ready to go to print.
And I'm sure the caption underneath it will say witch hunt.
Or something.
It should.
He'll have a coffee cup, fill it up.
There you go. I imagine he's probably got coffee mugs for sale on his website. Don't he have a lot of merch on his website? I know he used to.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. He does know how to make money, and he does know how to get free publicity.
Yeah. From what I hear, he don't pay his bills. He hires people to do stuff and then puts them out of business so they can't collect or something like that. I don't know.
Well, you know, politics aside, I did some consulting in Atlantic City back in the early 80s, long before politics. And a guy was opening up a drug testing business, and his office was kitty corner from Trump Towers. And I said, I'll consult you on one condition: you don't do business with any of the Trump properties. And he said, why? That's a lot of business. I said, it is. And you're going to pay a big lab fee every month. He's not going to pay you, and you're going to end up filing bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And within 6 months or so, the 3 people who did do business with them went out of business, filed bankruptcy, or just disappeared because they never got paid, but they had to pay their fees.
Yeah.
And my guy, 15 years later, is still there, still in business. So, you know, it's just whether you like him or not, you got to give him credit. He knows how to make money, and he knows how to get things for free.
Yeah.
I mean, if I didn't pay my bills, I'd be right up there, land baron, and maybe even running for president. Who knows?
There you go.
People that pay their bills and their taxes and do everything by the book can't afford those extravagant things.
I hear you.
Or you have the title senator or congressman.
Well, yeah. I mean, most, you know, a lot of, not most, but a lot of wealthy people on paper are only as wealthy as their debt. You know, they don't have cash. They have cash flow. And they're constantly robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Well, I'm sure guys like Bezos and, you know, what's the other one's name that owns Twitter now? Musk. I'm sure they got plenty of change laying around.
Well, yeah, I mean, they were in a different category too. They were in the tech industry, like the sharks, you know, Shark Tank there, that Mr. Wonderful. He had a little tech business dealing with education, and he sold it for, you know, I think a couple $2 billion. So, you know.
Well, now, Musk owns a spacecraft too, doesn't he? He spent a lot of people money to take some people to outer space a while back, but he one of those.
SpaceX, yeah, he owns it.
Yeah, it's down here in Texas, so he's a big, and they got the big plant out here outside of Austin. It's a huge plant. I mean, it's really big. But I saw a story today where actually now the government's suing him because he wouldn't hire the illegal immigrants that came over.
Oh yeah. What kind of American is he?
I don't know.
I mean,
Somehow.
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You know, that's your Biden administration for you. You know, let these guys come across, open up the borders, let them fill our country up, and then, oh wait, you're not going to put them to work? You're the bad guy. It makes 0 sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that would like to have jobs right now that can't get it. And a lot of people that can get it don't want one.
Well, that's right. I mean, my grandsons are not going to pick watermelons for, you know, $3 an hour or $5 an hour. And we send everything overseas because we don't have child labor that works for 25 cents an hour.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true.
Well, I can understand people not wanting to work for cheap wages.
Well, heck, these kids today don't want to work for $20 an hour. They don't even think they have to show up on time. I was talking to several HR people this year, and they said, this is what we do. About 10 o'clock every morning, we explain we're paying you from 9 to 5, so you can't show up at 10. And then we say we're paying you from 9 to 5, so you can't be on your phone for 5 hours. And that's HR today.
Yeah.
Our problem around here is we can't find anybody to pass the drug test. We have such a hard time with that in this area. And when it comes to hiring people, it's not even funny anymore.
Well,
Yeah.
you got to read my book, Drug Testing Exposed, Loopholes and Trade Secrets. I owned a huge nationwide drug testing business. And during the recession, when Bush was in, my railroads, my airlines, my government contractors, my Lockheed Martins, my IBMs were all calling me saying, Mike, you gotta turn your head a little bit. You're too honest. You got everybody in rehab. We can't run the railroads. We can't fly our planes. We just can't do business with you unless you start violating federal protocol.
Yeah.
So I sent everybody a 90-day notice, told them I was done. I called my wife and told her I'm not doing it. And she says, okay, we'll talk about it when you come home for dinner. And my wife, Doug, is a lawyer.
Okay.
And her favorite saying is, I can divorce you by noon tomorrow. And I said, well, hon, there's not much to talk about. I already sent out the 90-day notices. I told everybody I'm done. Don't call me. And I'll honor my 90-day out. And she says, well, what are you going to do now? I said, well, if I can't make a living being honest, I'll write a book and I'll make a living preaching about not being able to make a living being honest. So she says, what do you know about writing books? I said, nothing, but you're a lawyer, form a publishing company. So now we own Lady Law Publishing. And the book, I thought I was going to blackball myself in the industry. When the book came out, I got all kinds of new clients that said, oh my God, I didn't know there was anybody honest in this industry. Would you like to do my work? And we reluctantly started our business because there were 20 providers in my small valley, and my clients that I was consulting for said, Mike, your consulting is worthless because every single one of the 20 drug testers, our people are passing the test, even though we know they shouldn't. So I was kind of forced into opening up the drug testing business for my clients only. Well, word spread, we became nationwide almost overnight because I wouldn't take a bribe. I wouldn't turn my head. I wouldn't take a sob story. So you can't find. And the truth is, Kentucky guy, there are not enough drug-free people in this country to run any good-sized business drug-free.
I can believe that.
It can't happen. And if you look at a couple statistics, forget about your personal feelings, just get a calculator out. The United States of America makes up 5% of all the living human beings on the planet. We consume 60% of all the illegal, illicit drugs on the planet. 5% of the human beings on the planet, we consume 80% of all the pharmaceuticals manufactured. That's a government study from 15 years ago, so I'm sure the stats are worse today. Because there was no fentanyl back then. There was no, big cartels coming over the border. They were shipping over the border, but they weren't coming over the border like they are today. Mike Levine, a world famous former DEA agent, wrote a book and dedicated it to me because we came up with a plan that we could get rid of drugs in almost any neighborhood in 72 hours or less. And our only opposition was politics and law enforcement because we were killing their budgets, killing their pensions.
Yeah, that's so sad.
And I got hundreds of cops that support me, tip me off, tell me what's going on. But every single one of them will say to me, if you see me in the grocery store, don't you look at me, I'll punch you. Don't let anybody know I like you. Because I get fired. There's not a lot of bad cops out there. There's a ton of them that have their hands tied.
Yeah.
And I preach that all over. I say, look, there's one bad apple, two bad apples on every police department with 200 cops.
Yeah.
There's 199 of them that have to keep their mouths shut or be out of a job. So
Whoever has got a radio or TV or something on, would you mind turning that off, please? I'm hearing a lot of somebody's radio or TV or something.
again,
How's that?
I got it almost all the way down. Okay, test 1, 2.
We're good.
Okay.
I think I got it. Okay.
I turned my gain all the way down.
So did you all hear about India landing a spacecraft on the moon?
I thought it sort of did a spin out and crash.
That was the one from Russia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's see, India was become the fourth country to land on the moon. The mission could cement India's status as a global superpower. India landed its spacecraft just days after Russia's failed attempt to do the same. On August the 19th, Russia's Luna 25 crashed into the moon after its engines misfired. On Wednesday, more than 8 million people viewed the live stream of the landing. So I didn't realize that India was that far advanced. So
Well, they
that
have
was-
nukes.
Like what?
They have nuclear weapons. They've had that for a long time.
Yeah, but that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing a lot about their space program.
I haven't.
No, that's news to me. Doesn't surprise me that much, though. I mean, with all the software and everything else that gets written out of there, and I mean, they're very bright, very bright. We had a lot of people back when I worked at another company. Had a lot of people from India, very bright, capable.
A lot of money flows through there as well. A lot of money.
Yeah. Let's see, what else happened today? Did you hear about the plane crash outside of Moscow? I believe it was yesterday. Y'all remember this, what was his name? The Wagner guy that tried to take over Russia a few weeks ago? Remember that?
The failed coup.
Yeah. Well, the guy that was over that, he was in a plane yesterday with 10 people, and supposedly they crashed just outside of Moscow. Now, Bill Burns, the CIA director, thinks that Putin had something to do with that crash.
You think?
I'm not surprised. He said that Putin is the apostle of payback. That's what he called him. The apostle of payback. So,
I don't think anybody was surprised. Nobody has proof yet,
yeah,
but nobody would be surprised. They keep saying the plane was flying perfectly level, and I think it's interesting that the state news cameras are right there when it was falling out of the sky. It was also interesting that it very clearly only had one wing. So whether there was a bomb or whether it got shot or, whole wings just don't fall off of planes that are flying without any issues. So who knows what's going to come out in the end.
yeah.
Except they said there were like 19 or 20 people that got on the wrong side of them that all fell out of windows or are dead now.
It's amazing how that happens. Amazing how that happens. Huh?
Yeah. So I'm going to say nice things about him or say nothing because I don't want to die.
There you go. He may be watching right now.
You don't know.
Maybe we can get him to come on some night and have a discussion with him. What do you think?
Well, I don't know. You may as well. Why don't we invite a wall? You're going to get the same amount of cooperation.
But the wall might be more believable.
You won't assume room temperature after talking to the wall either.
That's right.
So
There you go.
We might get an intelligent fly on that wall.
Maybe, yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's all that's happening in the
Yeah,
news. So the rest of the world, nothing's happening if it's not on the news.
Well, some people say that this guy, Hunter Biden, has been up to a whole lot of mischief. Kentucky guy, I bet you got something to say about that, brother. You got that big grin on your face.
Oh, you're not talking about Biden's baby boy, are you?
That's the one. That's the one.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, here's the thing. We just talked about a former president being arrested for the fourth time today in the fourth different state. But yet we have an FBI and the director of the FBI sitting on a laptop, what, 3 years now, that has incriminating evidence not only on his baby boy, but on the guy sitting in the Oval Office right now. And nothing's being done and hasn't been done. It was covered up. It's come to light. It is real. It's not a Russian propaganda. So why in the world aren't we doing something? Why is this guy getting to live life and fly around on Air Force One with his daddy? And he's a criminal, coke addict, and everything else. Somebody tell me.
Well,
I'm lost.
I guess my question is, if all that proof is out there and the government is covering it up, why isn't it on social media? Why isn't anybody leaking all that proof on social media?
Are you serious?
Because, I mean, well, yeah, I'm serious because I mean we see everything about Trump on social media, so why can't we see everything about Biden on social media?
Let me just put it this way. I used to post on Facebook, YouTube about Hunter Biden and things of that nature when it was going on. Been suspended from both of them. I'm back on Facebook. I'm not back on YouTube yet. So, yeah, if you talk the right politics, like about Trump, they'll post it every day. If you don't, yeah, mainstream media is a real thing. So,
And you know what? I don't disagree with you that all the media is tainted. There are no more Walter Cronkites who just, that's the way it was and that's it. Everybody's got an opinion and everybody's got a position. Try to listen to all the news. I try to listen to all sides and try to pick out the common denominators in everybody's opinion and figure somewhere in the middle there's a little bit of truth.
yeah, just watch CNN and do the opposite. You'll be good.
Well, no, I watch both of them. I watch CNN. I watch Fox. I watch as many of them as I can, taking them all with a grain of salt and trying to figure out what they all have in common and what they're all saying that makes sense. Like I'm not buying Jewish space lasers starting fires in California. I don't care what agency's reporting it.
Or Maui.
Or Maui.
Yeah.
And
Apparently,
I'm
blue's
sure-
the color to wear. Apparently, according to some of those things that have been out there.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got an opinion, but I haven't met many people who were there or who have facts. I mean, Trump went to court 60 times and never delivered a fact. And I'm not picking on Trump. I'm just saying 60 court hearings, a lot of them were with his appointed judges. And I still never saw a fact on the claims. So
are you talking about the election?
Yeah, well, or whatever. I mean, I just hear accusation after accusation after accusation. And
Right,
then when I say to people, where did that?
How does he keep getting off then?
Pardon me?
How does he keep getting off? If you don't think he didn't have any facts, they would have kept him in there already. They keep dropping all the charges because they can't prove anything.
I think he's
Against him,
referring
you mean?
to.
Or,
I think he's
I'm
referring
talking
to when
about-
Trump.
Go ahead.
I think he's referring to when Trump went to court to try to have the election overturned. But the thing is, the only thing that they dismissed it on was they didn't get a chance to give any evidence. They dismissed it on not enough bases.
Oh
where,
yeah,
like,
that
they're
was
lack
not
of
supposed to be a
standing.
part of it.
Yeah, Mike, your wife should
Yeah,
know about this
they
lack
didn't
of
even look
standing.
at the case. Yeah, they didn't want anything to do with looking at the facts.
So they never got to present any proof or evidence.
Yeah,
Well,
they punted.
I'm going to agree with everybody. I never want to be in front of a jury because I know what's relevant, what's not relevant, and what they hear and what they don't hear. And we hear so many times about people who've been convicted, and then a year later, the jury said, "Oh, well, we never heard that."
I interviewed a lady recently that my other podcast, Friday Night Conversations, where her brother was arrested for killing one of their sisters and a friend several years ago, and he was given a life sentence and served was in prison for quite a while, and now they're going to give him another trial. So that's one mess that, and they keep saying that there's other evidence that they want to bring forth. So that's interesting. I mean, it happens.
There he is. You're late. You're late to your own.
Hey, I'm sorry. Can y'all hear me?
I'm clear.
Yeah, I was on this other podcast on Clubhouse. I was invited. It started at 7, and it's still ongoing. And we were talking about other issues, and then led it towards Trump and me, and these like a heavy group of black people, and they were trying to understand my story. How, you know what I'm saying, I'm not a traditional candidate, and I got to follow the total line and being controlled. I said, no, I don't have to, because of my story can awaken. Well, you already know about it, but I don't want to get into it. But I'm here, better late than never.
That's right.
I'm still online. I'm still on Clubhouse. They're talking. I got on mute, so I'm being, you know, on 2 shows at the same time. So go ahead. What was y'all discussing? I'm sorry.
We were discussing. We just got rid of the background noise from the 4 of us. And now we just got rid of the background noise from the 4 of us. Now we're listening to your background noise.
Okay.
Bad or something.
Yeah, that's the other phone you probably hear. I'm sorry about that. Let me turn it down. I was talking straight for like 35 minutes on the other show. And so sorry about that.
We can still hear it,
You still hear it?
but not now. Now we don't.
Okay. All right. We turned it down. All right. But hey, thank y'all for allowing me to be here again. Great panel. It seems like a couple of people that I remember from before. The other 2 I haven't met. Hey, how y'all doing? My name is Michael D. Landingham. I am a candidate for president of these United States of America in 2024, like I was in 2020. President, yes. And in 2020, Donald Trump threatened my life 13 days after I announced my run. And for almost past 5 years, I've been diligently working to try to get the story out. I have a $2 billion lawsuit against the Justice Department under Joe Biden for lying under my Freedom of Information Act about the ongoing investigation about the threat. And I'm running to unify the country with a story that can unite Americans as an American family. And that's who I am. That's what I stand for. And that's what I will be as your next commander-in-chief.
And you're being silent. But
being-
you're all over social media.
I am, but I'm still being blocked, and the news won't take my story. And Joe Biden's telling his Justice Department and that's telling the news not to run my story at all. And then again, running for president again, I don't want to go through what I went through in 2020, like in 2024. By blocking me is like killing the American experiment, because my story can really remove the hold that Donald Trump has on the Republican Party and the American people of his lies and treacherous deceits against the American people about the election and COVID and everything else.
But it's tough to block people today with social media. I mean, you can get your documents out there. You're out here tonight. You're talking about it. You're telling people that there's something to check into. So, I mean, really today with social media, the only way to really block you is to kill you.
Well, they can because of my last name, the bloodline of the presidency. I'm kin to George Washington. Through his mother's side of the family. He didn't have any kids, but through his mom, I'm kin through his mom. And, you know, as soon as I announced my run because of family unity with my black and white family, historically tied to the father of our country and General George Washington, General Robert E. Lee, excuse me. Trump saw me as a threat, but I saw it as a blessing to help bring this nation together beyond color and beyond party ideologies. We can learn from our history, but we don't have to point the blame of current people here and now. And I think that's what I was telling on the show here, the other one, that it sounds weird. It's never been heard of what I'm saying, but we never had a Donald Trump. We never had a president that committed so many crimes and on purpose tried to destroy our democracy because of this puppet master, President Putin. And my story can stop him. And I just need the opportunity to put myself out there to tell the American people what's what and how we can come together as an American family.
Somebody in chat.
What has he committed?
Debate channel.
Say that again.
Somebody in chat has a question. Is this a debate channel?
Oh, I'm sorry if I came in and tried to turn it into a debate channel. Not my intent, but
It's
you know,
it's not a debate channel, but we happen to be talking about the debates and debating things. So feel free to ask us a question and get us on another track if you'd like.
Yeah, it's hard to get Michael Landingham to talk. So, you know, we got to
well, let's talk about what we saw on the Republican debate last night. I watched it. I sat with my little cognac and looked at these people. I saw Ron DeSantis. He destroyed himself. Vivek Ramaswamy. I hope I'm saying his name right. I'm learning it right now. It looked like he won, but some of his ideas is archaic. It's far worse than Trump, and it doesn't meet the trend of what even young Republicans, even that question about climate change, and all of them were like, I don't believe it. It's a hoax. You shouldn't be president if you don't look at the reality of what we're facing, especially what happened in Hawaii. So none of these people that are running for president can bring this nation together. They can bring Republicans and Democrats together. That can heal the divisionary divides in DC. I can't. My story can't. And that's the reason why they're blocking it, because they cannot allow a black man, I'm sorry to be coldly racial or whatever, but this is them, that they don't want that kind of power to have that upon a black man. But it shouldn't be about that. It should be about, I'm an American. I'm a patriot. I have patriotism through my blood. And that's what matters. And that's what will bring all of us as Americans together.
But you mentioned once that you're related to Trump in some way or distant.
Oh, well, no, Trump was, him and my family came from the same little town in Germany about 700 years back in the 1700s. And he knew about all that. He knew that our families hated each other. Till this day, we still don't like each other. I did not know about that until after the threats came. And I'm trying to figure out, why would he send military assets? Why would he, didn't give a damn who would look at and tell or whatever? He just was out to get me with straight hatred. And when I found out through my other white family members, this is why we need to reach out to each other, because we won't learn about each other if we don't reach out and find common ground. And when I did that, that's when the answers came to me about why Trump threatened my life, because he was afraid that if I came out talking like I'm talking, that I would galvanize not just Democrats, but Republicans and independents that showed there's a way to unify and stop being afraid of one another. And that's the only reason why Republicans and the President Trump, don't have any ideas. They have to use hateful rhetoric and fear tactics to divide and conquer. But we as Americans, we're much bigger and better than that. And that's why I'm running for president, to show that we're bigger and better than that.
Okay. I was telling the guys earlier that we need to get another candidate on here and make you and him debate, or her, whichever the case. If anybody can get another presidential candidate in here, we'll gladly do that. I'd love to moderate that.
I would love to debate somebody and to challenge me, because I mean, if I'm not I got to know if I'm really ready for the job. I mean, I believe it, but without being challenged, to make me shut up, like, oh, there's a question I can't answer. Oh, you got me. Oh, wow. But no, currently what's on the news right now, we don't have a real challenger. And this is why I said earlier, the last show we was on, I think it was a couple days ago, the two-party system. They force feed our candidates the worst of the worst instead of the best. And we got to decide. And that's un-American to me. That's undemocratic to me. We are a self-governing nation. We forgot that because of our problems and because of the lies and the deceit and the fear-mongering. It doesn't matter if you're black or white, we all share the same creed. That we care about our kids, we want the best education for our kids, all of our kids. And when it comes to threats upon us or our nation, don't tread on me. And all of us believe that deeply. And we don't have a president that can bring the best out of us until I came along. So hopefully we'll just put it in God's hands and hopefully everything work out in the right way.
Well, we'd all like to see that. We all want to see things work out in the right way. We just can't all agree on what the right way is.
So did you say you were related to George Washington?
Yes. How I figured that out because almost 12 years ago, I started researching my last name. It's a white name, right? So I'm like black with a white name. I thought it was like slavery given. No, my grandfather's father or grandfather was white, and he was a Van Landingham. And so when I started like diving into and seeing all these other Landinghams, Van Landinghams, who are black and white, I just started calling them for the past decade, or about 8 years until I announced my run. And I figured if I could bring them together, and a lot of those Landinghams who were white, they voted for Trump. And a few of them contacted me and kind of broke down why Trump came after me. Now they said they're going to vote for me. So if I could do this with my black and white family, this is the reason why I believe I'm running for president, is to unify. Based on if I could do this with my family, I could do this with the country.
Gotcha. Yeah, the reason why I asked is I'm actually doing a special report tomorrow on my podcast. Did you know that 95% of our presidents, including Trump, are related to each other? 95%.
Okay, now here's the thing. Now before I got on here, that's funny. That is so fun. That is so funny. We were just on the other podcast. We just talked about that, and he said the same thing since the last president. God,
Trump.
Van Buren or something like that. Van Buren, I think it was. And I said, okay, yeah, Van Buren was the last one that was connected to the father of our country. But every president since then is only connected to that presidential line after that cutoff period, not to George Washington. All right. So.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that 95% of them are related to George Washington. I just related to another president. Yeah. Right.
Obama was related to Bush and Cheney, more than Cheney than Bush. So they're more interconnected with that new presidential bloodline, but the original bloodline, I'm the only presidential candidate since Van Buren that's connected to the original. And I'm black, so that's kind of like, this is weird to me. I mean, what am I doing? But it seems like I'm doing the right thing. I'm just letting God lead me, and it's looking good so far. I just wish I was on TV and debating people, but it's all right.
You okay, Bob? You look like you tipped over in your chair. Looks like you did a somersault.
I think you moved.
To my couch.
Yeah, you're in your recliner. You're in your lazy boy. I see you. He just laid back. You was hearing my voice. You like, you was hearing my voice. You was like, let me get comfortable here. This is something I like to hear right here. Yes.
Yeah, I was waking up on my computer, so I switched to my phone, so it allowed me to go sit over here.
Well,
You might.
Tell me what?
I was telling him he missed your big meal that you had earlier.
If I give them everything they need and they let it slip away.
Oh, no, I was just making. I'm just making sure they wouldn't call with me on the other one. I'm still trying to get off of the other page, but I'm still listening. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the feds and the CIA took a vacation tonight. You haven't been blacking out every 5 minutes.
Oh, I gotta figure out what happened. I was on my Wi-Fi, and if they were doing that, they would go through my Wi-Fi. So I took off my Wi-Fi before the show, so there will be no interruptions.
Like I heard Yogi saying.
But it is true, though. It is really true.
Earlier.
I mean, it's kind of funny. Like, let me tell you what happened today, right? So I've been in contact with the Rainbow Coalition about my story for the past, like, about 3 weeks. It'll be the third week. And I told them what I needed, lawyers and media attention. And they said they're going to get on it and did the email to organizations here in Cleveland. The problem is that there's no volume of an organization up there that can handle what I'm asking for. So they got to reach out to people in Chicago and Detroit, and that's nearby Cleveland. But now the march is about to happen this Saturday in DC. So I got to wait till after that. But they told me, they said, man, you know what, Michael, without that lawsuit, your story would not be credible enough to say there's something going on. And I'm like, yeah, if I didn't put that lawsuit in, yeah, I would be just talking into the wind. But now people can look at what's really currently going on. And I know it's kind of weirded out and all that, but we never had a President Trump. We never had the circumstances after Trump. And I'm telling you, before the first impeachment, the second impeachment, the COVID, the election of 2020, January 6th, he threatened my life, sending Black Hawk military helicopters here in Cleveland. And I have a police record stating what the police officers said they saw themselves in 911 calls, about 3 of them flying around. So I knew Trump was a madman, but to try to get people to believe my story up after that point, it was hard. But now, after seeing Donald Trump showing his ass, there are people taking a second look or third look at the story. So that's why I'm still at it. And just like what you said earlier about what the gentleman was saying earlier, I forgot it right quick. Doggone it. Sorry. What you said earlier, brother? The question you had for me earlier? Sorry.
Kentucky guy?
Yeah. Whoever asked me that one question, I'm sorry.
Kentucky guy asked a question. What was it?
No, I don't think I did.
No, you mentioned something before, and I went long-winded, and then, sometimes I get long-winded and I forget the original question. Sorry.
But it was the last thing I said was 95% of the presidents are related to each other.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, I covered that. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
So here's something we can talk about if you want. The American Academy of Pediatrics released a policy statement on Monday by the National Health Council that urges that spanking or paddling in schools should be abolished in all states by law. Texas is only one of many states that allow corporal punishment in public schools. So what do y'all think about that?
Is that they allow corporate punishment and who say so? Is that with the parents' permission or their own judgment?
Well, most states still allow it, apparently. And Texas is really, I think, one of the biggies.
I haven't seen, lived here most of my life. I haven't seen a lot since I was in school and wore out to paddle. That was, but I haven't seen, you let that now. I've got grandkids and stuff in school, and that's not something that's happening around there. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I've not seen it widespread in years.
Well, I remember when I was a student, I was very familiar with that. because I got a lot of those paddlings.
I have to say, I think that should be the parents' job to do that. That's just always been my belief. I don't want some teacher that I barely know, spanking my daughter. Just not going to happen. So,
Well, when I was back in school, whatever happened in school was the least of my problems. When I got home, my parents were going to make sure
Right.
that got corrected. And you're right. I mean, it's parental engagement stuff is just not as strong as it needs to be. That the discipline and all the other stuff really needs to come from the home, and unfortunately, that's not happening a lot.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not happening. I think I must have been 16 because I had a car in the school, called my father, and I went home. My father said, "Give me the keys to your car." And I said, "Why?" He said, "The school called." And I said, "What did they say?" He said, I don't, I'm going to talk to him tomorrow, but in the meantime, give me the keys to your car. And the next day he talked to the school and they said something really nice about me. So that night at dinner, he threw me the keys to my car and I said, "What's this?" He says, "Well, they had nice things to say about you." And I said, "Well, I don't want these. I want a new car." He said, "You're lucky you'll be able to sit in that one if you keep up this conversation."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always tell people my father didn't beat me a second time. The first time really set in strong and he didn't need to again.
He made his points.
He made his point. My father was a former boxer, and I had pretty big mouth, and he said to me in front of my. He said to me in front of my.
That's gone away sometime, Mike. It doesn't sound like it, but
What's that?
You had a big mouth. I'm just saying it doesn't seem like it actually went away.
I had a less controlled mouth. My father said in front of a bunch of my friends, he says, "Let's forget that we're related. Let's freak it out, big guy." Because I was about 2 feet taller than my father. And I said, "Nah, I'm not going to hit you." And he hit me. And I said, "I'm not going to hit you." He hit me a second time, a third time, a fourth time. And the fifth time, all I remember was seeing his feet fly by my face. I nailed him. And when I came back to, I said to my friends, "What happened?" They said, "You finally gave in and hit him." And then you saw about 5 of the neighbors' front lawns before he knocked you out.
Did that make the local news?
It was back then they'd have given him a medal.
Yeah, it's something. I was really surprised to read this because I thought spanking had been totally abandoned in all states. That's what I've heard. It's just something that is a no-no now, Like Kentucky guy said, it's something that parents should be in charge of. It's the way most people look at it, I think.
Well, yeah, and that it is. But my sister-in-law is a school administrator. I got a couple of people that work in the school system, and the problem today is you can't say anything about anybody's child because the parents want to come and kill the teachers.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't even tell a parent that their kid's out of line. The parent wants to have you fired, so let alone put your hands on anybody.
Yeah. I remember when I was in, I believe it was the 7th grade, we had this one big kid. He had missed failed about 2 grades, so he was a couple of years older than the rest of us. Big guy, he was a big boy. His mother made it clear to all of the teachers and the principal in the school that her son would not be punished at school for any reason. Well, that kid got away with murder. I mean, he done anything. He was the biggest bully in the school. It was a mess. I hated that guy. Plus, he beat the crap out of me one day, and I hated him more.
Are we talking about?
Lasting impression.
Are we talking about the first time being bullied or something, and how you're supposed to handle bullies?
About spanking kids in school, about corporal punishment.
Oh. I know a little bit something about that. Lord have mercy. I remember my days in school. Then when you mentioned about bully or whatever, it was one time this guy, I never will forget this. And I was just got into junior high school. This guy was in 9th grade. And you know how we used to stand outside before you go in the classroom in the morning?
Yeah.
So we sat outside, and this guy started picking at me and everything like that. And one morning I got out there, I got tired of him picking at me. And so he made some jokes, and I decided to make some jokes. And the one joke that really destroyed him was, I said, I know I'm a presidential candidate, so I got to be careful what I'm saying. But I said that your penis is so small that you got to take tweezers to take a piss. And the first person that laughed was his girlfriend. And then everybody else started laughing. So I guess the moral of the story is bullies have the smallest ones. Like Donald Trump. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. Sorry. But yeah, honestly, yeah, that's true.
Well, you can't say that in front of Bob and Turkey Guy now.
I can't what now?
I said you can't say that in front of Bob and Kentucky Guy.
Oh no, I don't want to do that. I was just being funny. Hell, my bad.
No,
I missed it. Sorry.
oh, okay.
No, we didn't say nothing. We didn't say nothing.
Nah.
Shh, we didn't say nothing.
So what big news item did you guys want to talk about that you may have heard today or yesterday or whatever?
Well, let's talk about seeing Donald Trump going and getting fingerprinted and mugshot for the first time ever. A president.
No.
Oh,
Are
that's
you already
right.
talking about that?
Yeah, you weren't here.
Yeah, we already
Oh,
covered that.
all right. Don't worry about it. Yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah.
Is there anything other than politics to jump on?
Let's talk about my book, A Flicker in the Water.
What's that?
Who?
Let's talk about my book, A Flicker in the Water.
Let's talk about it.
Oh, did you write a book?
Anybody here like deep sea fishing?
We can barely
What
hear
was
you.
that,
Bob.
Steve?
Can barely hear you.
Really? Oh man. All right. Let's see. Yeah,
We
there
hear
it
you
is.
now.
All right.
There you
Okay. Yeah. How about now?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Steve. Yeah, my book, A Flicker in the Water. It's about the ocean and fish and tales of being at sea.
So let's talk about your fishing. How's all the garbage and the waste and the toxins, and how's that affecting good fishing?
Here, we don't have a problem with that. Everybody thought after that Horizon oil spill that the Gulf of Mexico would never be the same, and it would be. Everybody was like, up in arms. But less than a year later, everything was back to normal, and there's not even a trace of any of that anywhere.
Well, nature does have a way of healing itself. So some of those areas that did the worst were the ones that we tried to chemically clean up. And some of the best recovery was from the areas we didn't get to try to clean. Mother Nature.
That's right.
Mother Nature did a
Nature will
wonderful
do it.
job.
Yeah. Anybody ever read The Old Man and the Sea when they were a kid?
Oh, yes.
Yep.
I never got a chance to. I was always a Huckleberry Huckleberry Finn.
Huckleberry Finn. Yeah.
Yeah. I was very.
Mary Hemingway, Ernest's granddaughter, wrote the foreword for my book.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Yeah. She said it spoke to her in a deep sense of appreciation, which that meant a lot to me.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
What did it mean? I was going to ask brother just one question. What inspired you to write your book?
You know, I had these stories that I just thought people would enjoy them, you know, and I wasn't fishing as much, so it was my way of still being fishing and sharing it with the people.
I love fishing, so that's why a story about fishing. I love fishing. Is something tranquil about it? You're out there in the water, sir.
Saltwater fishing or freshwater?
Anything I can catch a fish and fry it. That's all I don't care what it is.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. There's something very tranquil about being out there, and it's like it's like you feel closer to God, you know, when you're out there. You really do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of reminds me of the story of the parable when I don't know who was the fisherman, but Jesus met the fisherman and he couldn't catch a fish, and Jesus said,
That's
"Throw the
Peter.
net." Peter, you're right. That was Peter, and he said, "Peter,
That story's in the
throw."
book.
It is okay. So that's See, that's why I got that feeling, and I feel like that story, what you explained, kind of met tie with that. So kind of ironic. I kind of felt that.
Yeah.
Good
Check
book.
out my website, flickerinthewater.com. Maybe you'll like it.
I'll check it out.
And then you can mention it at your inaugural.
Oh gosh, I be thinking about that, about not about me, but just about people can see my story and I can relate to them with their stories, and then with me they can bring their stories out to America to show that we're all one. And then thinking about that, I always said that it's not about me, it's for the people. And just use me. That's all I can tell you. Use me to get your story out and try to unite everybody else that wants to be united. That's the overall idea. Usual stories like yours, everybody can relate with that. And I have a feeling like if you have a controversial story like mine, that can be a bridge for people to come in the middle and to share stories and ideas and figure things out. That's the best way to move forward.
Michael, you wasn't here when I told everybody, if you want to type any of your links in the public chat, you can do that at any time.
Top. What do you mean, type in topics of discussion?
Yeah. No, any of your links. Like Bob is right here.
Yeah. All I can say is,
anytime you want to do that, you can do that.
Okay, I appreciate it. Well, all I can say is LandinghamCase.com is the reason for Landingham versus Department of Justice. That's about it.
Type in if you want to.
I'll type it out. I will type it out.
Yeah, you want to do that for old guys like me that like to copy and paste because they have short memories.
You can do that.
Who you telling? I'm 41. I'm already feel like my mind is 52. So
I just turned 66 last week.
Oh, you could have fooled me. I thought I look older than you.
I guess I'm the old guy.
I got rid of all the gray hairs.
I'm losing my hair. I don't have one gray hair, but through what I've been going through, I've just been losing my hair. I got like PTSD from something. All right.
I decided to shave my head. I was walking downtown by a big plate glass window, and I saw I thought I had hair, but it was just a big blowover of hair in the middle of the ear on a bald head. So I went home and shaved, and that was the last time I had hair.
Yeah.
Didn't look good in the wind.
Michael typed that in the private chat. Nobody will be able to see it. And then he disappeared. Oh, well.
Fishing.
$47.
We can talk about him.
Yeah.
It's a challenging election and criminalized.
But did you all hear about the retired police officer going into a biker bar and shooting people?
No.
And this was in Let's see, where was that? I got the, oh yeah, it was in Orange County, California. There's 4 people dead and 5 others shot. It was in a biker bar called Cook's Corner. And it says no sheriff's deputies were injured during the shooting, but there was gunfire after they showed up and killed the shooter, who was a retired police officer who may have targeted his estranged wife. So what do you think about that?
He'd have
Retired
been,
police
he'd have
officer
been, he
goes
would have
in
been better off giving up half of what he had.
I think it was a suicide by cop. I think that was the whole idea. Because as soon as the cops got there, he started firing at them, and of course they killed him. You know, so if that was his intention, it worked.
Kind of makes you think what kind of guy he was as she left him.
Yeah, yeah.
It's sad. I just want to let your audience know that the T-shirt is out. It is for sale with the Trump mugshot on it. $47.
Oh, that's what you were saying earlier. $47. Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was funny, but it is for
What does
sale.
the shirt say?
It's picture of Trump's mugshot.
Oh, okay.
Trump's the one that's got it for sale.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's I mean, that's going to go towards his legal fund, but at least you're getting something in return.
I think it's hilarious. Yeah.
You know, I've always heard that that's the way rich people stay rich. They always use everybody else's money for whatever they do.
My dad taught me that a long time ago. Anytime you can work off the other man's money, do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't figured out how to do that yet.
Yeah.
Oh, Bob, where you been, brother?
I don't know what happened. It got locked out for some reason, but I'm back.
Okay. Everybody keeps disappearing.
Yeah.
Well, have you been keeping up with the actors and writers strike?
Oh man.
Thousands of striking actors and writers rallied across the United States on Tuesday during a so-called National Day of Solidarity. Writers have been on strike for almost 4 months and actors for almost 2.
On the phone. Yeah.
In a historic dual strike, the like of which has not been seen since 1960.
Well, what do you think about? I mean, there's a lot of issues, but the one big issue is where they want to use artificial intelligence to duplicate them and use their images and not give them any royalties at all.
Well, I can see where that would be a concern, don't you?
Well, sure. If you're going to use my image, you got to give me something for it.
Yeah, yeah. And if you've used AI at all, you could ask it a question. You'd ask it to type an essay for you, and in 10 seconds, you got a 500-word essay. And it's all perfect, no punctuation problems and no misspelling. It's just the way it should be.
Now, I got that Chat GPT just recently, just to see what it was all about.
Yeah.
And my wife and I do trainings and seminars and educational things. And so we went into that Chat GPT just to compare. And we're very proud of the fact that we covered all the bases, but we're not sanitized, clerical, preaching, non-feeling people. I mean, you know, our information was the same as Chat GPT, but we delivered it as human beings who've had experiences and understand how other people think or take into consideration how other people might think. The Chat GPT was excellent, but it was just cold, hard letters on paper.
Yeah.
You know, very, very informative, but, you know, you could tell it was a machine, not a person who had experience.
Kind of like reading an encyclopedia.
Yeah, Yeah, very filtered, very clinical. So it's nice. We're really excited to use it as a comparison to see how far off we are or how much we really do know. So that's been fun, and it definitely has been helpful in researching things that we're not proficient in and that we're not familiar with. So, but we still like to hear it from a human being who's experienced it, or lived it.
So do you think we'll ever have an AI president?
Why we don't? How would you know?
If we do have an AI president by now, he's the dumbest.
Well, how would you even know? I mean, that one congressman, they were listening to his speech, and at the end, he said, "That wasn't me." You know, he sounded just like him, talked just like him, but he was sitting right there, and he says, "Great speech, but that wasn't me. I didn't say a single word."
There you go. That might be something you want to consider for your Trump speech. What you call it, not a Trump speech. What do you call it, a stump speech, or what do they call it? The politician stump
speech.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know.
Yeah, stump speech. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So what else is on the agenda?
Well, let me just say this. I'm sorry. When the gentleman was speaking, I was looking kind of weird. You know, I wasn't looking weird with what you were saying. I got the news in front of me, and I just saw the mug shot of Trump. And I never saw a picture of Trump like this. He looked distraught. He looked kind of high. I couldn't believe it was him. He had his eye looking all strange. It was weird, man. He looked like he was pissed.
Yeah.
It was done on purpose, my friend.
I'm glad it was. He deserved it.
If you look at Mark Meadows and Giuliani's mugshot, they had the same facial expression.
No, I mean their picture was better than just Trump. Go look at Trump right now, and I swear to God, yeah, look at him. Look at him and compare that with the rest of them. He had the worst picture out of all the rest of them. And I saw the Mark Meadows and Rudy Giuliani, but with Trump, he looked like, dude, I really don't want to be here. I shouldn't be here. What the hell, man? That's how he looked. Yeah. So it's his fault. Don't blame the Democrats. It's your fault. You thought you can get away with things. You got away with everything in your life. Everything. And you think being president, you could do this and do that and then just try to destroy over almost 250 years of trying to make our democracy perfect.
Sorry,
and you can just, that's just asinine. I don't like that. That's just stupid. No. And like I told the gentleman on the other podcast, I said, look, I know we're all black and everything like that, but you know, ain't we tired of marching and everything? Ain't it time to do something by now? But what I'm hearing from them is like, it's too late. We should give up. This is what I hear from my own people, black people. We should give up. The system ain't gonna never allow us to make real change happen. And I don't like hearing that. And they tell me as president, I'm gonna be told what to do and what to say. And I'm like, clearly you don't know about my story that won't allow me to be following that trend. And I have to deal with my own people far much more than any other ethnic group because of the beat down and the neglect. And for a black man like me to come out talking about this and that, it's hard for black people to swallow that. But they will. They will.
There's an old saying, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably right. And as soon as you say it's too late, then it's too late. You've given up.
And I'm kind of like a black FDR. I don't like seeing my countrymen seeing defeat in their eyes. I hate that. It's a passion. I hate that. If we're defeated, then why? What are we doing here? What are we arguing about? What are we fighting about? What we're marching about? If what you believe is true, then we shouldn't be marching. We should just accept the fact that we're back in slavery. Not just blacks, but all of us. Intellectual slavery, not free thinking. Because if you don't have the education and if your mind is cut off from the realities of the world, then you are enslaved. Period. No matter if you're black or white, no matter if you're Republican or Democrat. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And Trump, right there, look at him. Look at that picture. Let me just take a look at him.
It looks mad.
That's the man who threatened my life. That's the man who turned my world upside down.
That's who I want to see you debate. We arrange that.
I mean, they won't let me debate him. He'll be locked up by the time my story come out. But it'd be fun if I would debate him. It'd be so fun. Him and Joe Biden.
He'll never spend a second in jail, Mark.
Well, let's just see how my story comes out. This is what I told the gentleman before. I said, look, if they get a whiff that Donald Trump sent military helicopters to threaten an American citizen who's black, who's killing George Washington, to have him assassinated with the military, if they still decide to hold on to him, then there's only one option. There's only one clear option. That means the only option is that clearly we see whose side of which of these people and that people, which side they're on. So you're okay for a president to kill an American citizen to keep power. Then you lost your argument for the fight. You're gonna lose. Even some government officials said that if my story came out, they was fearful that it would start a civil war because I'm black and how George Floyd happened and blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, I'm alive. I'm not dead. It's up to me to go out there and start speaking it so we can calm down the rhetoric. And then what happened? But if the status quo still be the same for followers of Trump after my story comes out, then America's done. Simple as that. But I don't believe that will happen. I believe that enough Republicans who still hold on to Trump will say that's enough. You can't send 3 Black Hawk military helicopters against an American citizen who just announced his run. You can't do that. It has to be the breaking point. That will be the breaking point because I'm not a part of the system. You know what I'm saying? Where you have Democrats in control. Democrats control the Justice Department, whatever. So whatever comes out against Trump, they don't care what they see. They just don't trust the Democrats who are in power. But I'm outside of it. And this happened before the first impeachment, the Ukraine call, the second impeachment, January 6th, COVID. And if the Democrats used my story back then, we would have avoided all this mess, but they didn't. So they're much as guilty, the leadership, not the people of the Democratic Party, is much as guilty of what happened between me and Trump by blocking it than Trump. Because the cover-up of the crime is much as guilty as the crime itself. That's just my take on it.
Well, did you hear the weird case of the woman who was suspected of being sex trafficked? She was convicted of 12 years in prison. Now, this is a strange story. It says the family of Zephaniah Trevino says she was being sold for sex and she was involved in the robbery that led to her conviction. Trevino was charged in connection with the death of Carlos Murillo, who was fatally shot during a 2019 robbery at an apartment in Grand Prairie, Texas. Her attorney says she pleaded guilty to murder and aggravated robbery to avoid risking a possible life sentence. She was prosecuted as an adult even though she was only 16 at the time of the crime. Isn't that weird? She was supposedly a victim of sex trafficking, but they chose to ignore that and charge her with the robbery and the murder, which is understandable, right?
What state was that in?
That was in Ohio, I think.
I'm in Ohio. I don't think I've heard that one. When did it happen? When did it happen?
Well, the murder and robbery happened in 2019.
Oh well, shoot. Trying to remember.
Yeah.
I was here.
But
The only thing I can
you-
remember is those girls that got called in that house in Cleveland. That's the only thing I can remember back then.
Yeah. How do you think they done the right thing by ignoring the sex trafficking thing and just going after the person?
No, you can't just wipe that. That's one of the most the sex trafficking industry right now is the cartel and different people that are bad people that are doing it. They're making more money doing that than they are drugs.
Yeah.
You can't just sweep something like that under the rug. Don't get me wrong; she needs to pay for the crimes she committed, but they need to investigate that heavily.
But the crime was a crime by killing the person that was causing her situation. Is that what happened?
Well, apparently the guy that they killed during the robbery was the person who allegedly was trafficking her.
Well, see, here's the thing. If somebody, what is it called? Law and Order, SVU. I remember an episode about that. If she was in a sex trafficking ring and she was trying to defend herself and become free, I don't think they should be filing charges on her because of her trying to defend herself, because she was being decimated.
Well, she wasn't defending herself at that particular time. She and two more people were robbing him. And then they killed him.
Okay, that complicates a little bit more. Made it watered down a little bit.
Complicated.
Oh, that right there. I wouldn't mission after the decision after the fact, like a mission after the fact. I would say that she shouldn't get the full punishment, like maybe manslaughter to the least degree, get some kind of probation or something like that. But under the circumstances, from what I'm understanding, what you're telling me, telling us, murder. I mean, I don't know. That is a tricky one. I'll make it a lesser. I'll make a lesser judgment sentence for her than the actual that's currently out there.
So when the guy got killed, just to clarify, when he got killed, was this after he trafficked her or before? Well, it had to be after, right?
It had to be after. Yeah, it had to be after. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, he still committed the crime against her before she killed him. It's still kind of sort of self-defense in a way,
Yeah.
right?
I guess in a way, yeah.
That's why I said they shouldn't give her a lesser manslaughter charge or something like that. That won't cause her, any jail time, just probation. And if she was good before, I think she'd be all right.
Yep. Just because the guy was killed, though, don't get away from that trafficking. Find out where the source is, and they need to investigate that heavily.
Yeah.
I think maybe she just didn't have a good attorney. What do you think?
If she can afford it. I mean, to have real justice, you got to have money. Without it, you're screwed. So, especially immigrants. So, yeah.
And immigrants are a whole nother topic. I mean, that's a mess also.
Wait, let me make sure I get a clarification. Was the lady an immigrant?
No.
Oh, she was an American?
Yeah.
Oh, snap. Okay. All right. Well, still at the same time, it still doesn't matter if she's an immigrant or an American. It still was wrong, and I believe she was trying to defend herself, and she didn't know. She never been kidnapped before, so how the hell is she supposed to know what's right and wrong to do to protect herself, but to do what's right and wrong? So that's how I look at it.
Michael, you are muted. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
No, the other Michael.
No,
Oh.
I shut
Oh, it's two
my
Michaels.
I shut my microphone off just to make sure I wasn't the feedback.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, sex trafficking is a very, very widespread problem in this country, in small towns, big towns, mostly with the cartels, but it happens on a local level as well.
Yep.
Drug addicts are selling their kids for sex to get their next fix, and all kinds of things going on that just haven't made the news yet because we don't want to panic everybody about everything.
Well, did you hear about the burglary suspect that chugged gasoline when the cops tried to arrest him? Don't ask me why, I don't know. But this was in Seattle. A burglar suspect decided to chug from a can of gasoline as cops moved in for the arrest. Suspect was treated by paramedics and then taken to King County Jail and booked for burglary. This all started when a 17-year-old girl called in a complaint that a man was trying to break into her parents' home. Now, what was he thinking? That's weird. That makes absolutely no sense, does it?
Not to me.
You think maybe he was trying to commit suicide by doing that? I don't know.
Now, have you guys heard of Dick's Sporting Goods?
Yeah, we got one here in
Oh,
town.
yeah, I've got one right down the street.
Okay, well, they originated in my hometown, and they just put out a report that said due to theft, shoplifting, their sales are going up 4%, but their profits are going down by 15%, and they're actually going to lose money with all their expansions and everything just from shoplifting alone.
Yeah.
Do you
And,
guys hear that feedback? Or is it
Unbelievable.
just me?
Yeah, that's why I turned my mic off to make sure it wasn't me. And so it wasn't me. It was still going on.
Okay.
Well, I don't hear it now.
It's gone
It's
now.
Mike's watching the news and got his cell phone on.
I don't think.
I think it was me because I got my fan on because it's hot here. That's what it probably is. So I'm putting my mic on mute while y'all talking. So sorry about that.
Yeah. No. When you just blacked out, then the feedback went away for the 10 seconds you were gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dick's Sporting Goods just took over one of our malls and put a big, going to be their central headquarters now to rival, what are those fishing stores, Bass Pro and those stores. And they came from my hometown. I actually grew up with the family's nephew. I didn't know them, but I went on a couple of summer trips with the nephew to their cottage on a lake. And when I was a kid, before they were anything, they had a small store on Court Street, and they still have the original store that the father started with.
That's interesting.
And, now they're huge.
Yeah, they are. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
So we were talking about trafficking a minute ago. Have any of you guys watched The Sound of Freedom?
No, I haven't. I've heard of it.
I've heard of it, but I have not seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. I'm waiting for it to come on Angel Studios, which should be any day now. So, but I know a whole lot about it, and it's going to be a tough one to watch.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty good, actually. Yeah, that's the big thing. Trafficking is big here in East Tennessee. It's sad.
Yeah, and this movie is based on a true story too. That's what makes it even,
Yeah, I've heard several people talk about it, but I didn't know if it was out yet or I just was missing it or what.
Yeah, it's been out a while.
Yeah, it's on theater. It's been in theaters like a month. It's sold out every single
Something
week.
like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So what else is on the news, gentlemen, or anybody you want to gossip about or whatever?
Hey, I do want to mention something that has been on my spirit a little bit. These UFOs or UAPs or angels or demons, whatever you want to call them. What does y'all take about it? Do you think that it is about time that we should know the truth, or should we wait till we unify as one race on this planet before we know the truth?
Well, if we wait on that unification, it'll never happen. I hate to say it, but that will never happen.
Well, I would hope if they're real, they're coming here to put us in our place so we don't destroy this planet and put the whole system out of whack.
They better hurry. They better hurry.
Oh, they're working. They're working. They're working. But I like I said, they all the lies that they been trying to cover up about what happened with Roswell in New Mexico, Area 51, alien craft. There's one alien that after the crash, one of them survived and helped share technology with us so we can give him or the alien means and ways to contact his people to rescue him. But the stories that came out about Israel and the United States government working with these aliens, all the technology, the cell phones and everything like that, that came from their technology. We re-engineered their technology to meet our needs. But they already had that technology back then, but they just couldn't come out with it. When the atom bomb was made, that came from that. The material we didn't know about until we figured it was on this planet and we used it. From what also that I heard, that since now it's all come out, so everything that was told before, they said that was a lie. Now it could probably we have to take a second look at it. It just seems like that the remnants in the Bible and everything like that, demons and angels and aliens, it's all tied into one. And I just think that what's currently going on now with the sharing of information about what, the truth about these UFOs, I think they have no choice but to reveal what's really about to happen and what this world is facing right now with the global warming and how our democracy is unraveling at the seams and how the world is reacting with maybe a possible third world war. The timing of how the alien story is coming out it's not a spontaneous moment. It's the timing of everything. So I think we need to know about it so we don't feel so alien towards each other and so misguided about showing that we're not the same, but we are.
I would like
to
know the truth. I wouldn't be surprised. It seems to me like they would just about have to be some more planets with life. Why not? They're finding out now that there's probably billions and billions of solar systems and universes, and so apparently there's no end to it.
Well, technically, overall, from what I've heard, that there's only 33 intelligent species within our known galaxy. The rest of there's plenty of life, but it's not intelligent. It's not like where we are or these aliens that are visiting us where they are. Very few far in between. But there's 33 about this the Galactic Federation. I don't know if you heard about that. That's real. And I always said to myself, and I always had this feeling, all these movies about aliens and Star Trek and Star Wars was to prepare not just that generation when they realized what was really out there, but for us, this generation, to realize, so we could be better prepared to understand when they reveal the truth. So I believe they set all that stuff up to prepare us. I don't know if I sound crazy about me saying that, but
they better prepare us, because when Orson Welles came out with the War of the Worlds, people
Yes.
were jumping out of windows and committing suicide.
That was
and
crazy.
Mass hysteria.
I wasn't around back then. I heard the stories. I wasn't around back then. I heard the stories.
Well, I wasn't around either, but watching shows and history stuff, and when that movie came out, people really panicked.
Yeah, there was people going out with their shotguns, going to shoot the place.
I think that happened right after when that blackout happened in LA, and they were shooting in the air because they were saying that some kind of UFO was over LA. I don't know if you remember hearing about that. Y'all ever heard about that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, there was a documentary about it. I looked it up. It was on YouTube. It was about 3 months ago when I saw it. And I don't know if it was right about the same time about what, we just mentioned a second ago. But I think it was right after that. They thought it was the Japanese that was coming in, that was flying their planes into, but it was a UFO. And all the floodlights came in. The Battle of LA. I don't know if you heard about that. But the Battle of LA, they had the floodlights up, and they were shooting at this light. But the bullets were going through. And it was so weird. But they realized it wasn't the Japanese, it was something else. So I'm down. Y'all never heard of that for real?
I don't recall it. No.
I don't remember the LA one.
And now I'm thinking it was it was LA. It was LA. It wasn't San Francisco. It was LA. Yeah. Just Google Battle of LA UFO. It was back in the 1950s.
No.
Something like that.
That was before my time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Well, didn't
But
when the Orson Welles thing came out, wasn't that in the late 50s?
I think that was in the late 50s, early 60s.
But I'm thinking it was right about when that happened. It was right after. Or no, wait. It might be before. It might be before. But I remember distinctly reading up on that. It was a documentary on YouTube. I think Discovery or something like that, Discovery Channel off of YouTube or whatever. But they mentioned it. It's been documentized.
Yeah. I remember. You remember the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind? I think that was in the 80s.
Yeah,
That
I haven't seen it.
Good movie.
that's one where they use the music to communicate.
Yeah. 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 Had some people doing some strange things. This one guy built a big mountain in his living room.
Out of the mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Mama.
There's been a lot of takes on it, a lot of theories, and a lot of shows.
Yeah. And
Okay,
some-
Kentucky guy, you just ruined my night. I was
What did
just
I?
thinking, you just ruined my night. You smiled. I was just thinking to myself, boy, I'd hate to play poker with him. You, I can imagine what you're thinking at some comments, but then you got such a straight interview face.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. No argument there. Huh?
So Bray Wyatt, I don't know if you guys, any of you follow sports or the wrestling scene, but Bray Wyatt passed away a few hours ago. Shocking, 36 years
Yeah, I
old.
saw that.
Really?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
saw
Oh,
that.
hell no. Wait a minute. Let me go give one my phone. Where my other phone at? I got to see that. Really?
Yeah.
And Who was it? Another wrestler died yesterday. Funk. Remember Funk?
That was Terry
George-
Funk.
Terry Funk. He
Yeah,
died
Terry
yesterday.
Funk. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was in his 70s.
Yeah, he was in his 70s.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt. Wow.
30 years old, wasn't he? Something like that. He was a weird character. That character was very strange.
Wasn't that the guy that been through like before he came on stage and he was like on his hands and feet and put his head upside down like he was a monster or something? Was that the same guy? That's the same
That's
guy,
him.
right? Oh my God, I
That's
love
him.
that guy.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Wow.
See, we've been waiting. See, I run I co-host another podcast show about wrestling, and we've been waiting for him
Yeah.
to come back because he's been ill. But come to find out, he had heart problems, and today he had a fatal heart attack.
Oh. Yeah, he was out for a while. And I didn't know why. I didn't know. Wow. I'm a big wrestling fan, so I'm like,
Yeah, me too.
Are you really? You guys need to come on the show.
I interviewed a wrestler 2 weeks ago on my other podcast, Michael, LTZ. You heard of him?
LT?
LTZ. I interviewed him a couple of weeks ago on Friday Night Conversations, so in case you want to check
Was he a part of the WWE or WCW or what?
he's a small time independent guy.
Oh no, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't.
He's fairly young, right?
Yeah, I think he's in his late 20s, man, might be 30, I don't know.
Hey, I've got a good friend that he comes on, and he's an independent wrestler as well. Has been for years. Warren Marlowe. If you ever want to have him on, I can make that happen.
Yes,
He's-
make that happen.
Okay.
Yeah, and by the way, any of you, if you want to invite some people to come join us, feel free to do so.
I was thinking about bringing Donald Trump on so we have to talk about what happened between me and him, but I think that's a far-fetched thing that would happen. Yeah, if I can do it, I would. Just for the hell of it. But
Me too.
that would be fun.
By the way, Michael Landingham, the posts that you've been putting them in private chat. Nobody can see them but us. You need to put that in the public chat.
Yeah. I mean, it won't happen. Like I wish it would, but it won't happen that way.
No, you misunderstood.
I'm sorry.
When you put your link on there, I told you put it in the public chat.
Yeah.
You put it in the private chat.
Oh hell! What?
Yes, but that's live right here.
Well, what? I didn't know. Okay, so how do I put it in the chat? Where you telling me?
Where it says comments next to the private chat.
Lower right-hand screen says comments. Or maybe if you're on a cell phone, maybe you don't see it.
Yeah, I'm on a cell phone right now, so I don't. I just see Mike, Cam, chat, more. Let's see what more says. Comments.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's where you need to put it.
All right. I'm only 42. I don't know this crap.
Hey,
Uh,
know this stuff. What you're
Okay, got it. Okay, I got it. I'm gonna connect to YouTube. You still there?
Who?
Yeah.
Okay, because I lost y'all. Now I gotta connect.
Yeah, you're
All right.
but you're frozen.
All right, I'm connecting. I'm learning. I'm sorry. I'm doing this all by myself. I don't have no help with this. I'm guessing when I'm doing this. Okay, so we're connected. Redirect. Back to you. Check is good.
Okay.
Okay, we're back. Okay, I'm on.
You ain't never.
All right, there we go. Well, I never had to comment, like this, but okay. LandinghamCase.com is the reason for Landingham versus Department of Justice. So all you got to just Google that, and you pretty much see what I've been going through.
Next week's show should be technology for old guys.
There you go.
There you go. I'm game with that one. Teach me,
Listen, there's a
because I'm gonna need
secret.
help.
There's a secret to it. Just find a 10-year-old.
There you go.
Oh, I got a bunch of them. My nieces and nephews. That definitely helped me out with that. So, okay, all right, I send it. Great.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's it.
with it.
I'm back.
There you go. Where'd you go? There he is.
So, like I said, LandonHamCase.com is where you can look at the text messages between me and Trump on December 8th, 9th, and 10th of 2018. How you can view the text messages: as soon as you click my website, you have to click the 3 blue bars underneath the website's name. Start from page 1. After you click page 1, if you want to open, it's like 1 through 10 or 11, I think. So to open up the other pages, click the plus sign next to page 1. And if you read it, Trump tells on himself about who he really is about 4 or 5 times. So, I mean, as you already know, Trump tells on himself. But through these communications, he shows his hand too quickly. I picked up on it. That's why I'm still alive today.
Okay. That looks like Bob back.
And wait, one more thing I got to say. When you look on my website and you see the picture of Donald Trump with the name of David Van Landingham, ask yourself this question. The picture that you see with him is Donald Trump, right? Tell me if you ever saw a picture like that, ever. And everybody I asked, they said, we never seen a picture like that. Because he took it from me. His picture is like him standing somewhere on the White House grounds with his finger up like, no. You tell me, take a look at that picture. You tell me, have you ever seen a picture like that? Of all the pictures, all the videos, have you ever seen that? And I bet you'll say no. And that's a one-of-a-kind picture directly towards me. There it is.
Okay. You heard it right here, folks.
Can anybody anybody look up that picture? Can you do it, Steve, and put it up there?
Well, I can try to see what happens.
Just go on my website, find the picture by clicking the 3 blue bars and start on page 1. And you'll see David Van Landingham with the picture of Donald Trump on Facebook. A friend of mine had to come to me and say, what about that picture right there? I've never seen that picture before of Donald Trump. And that's when it like made me really think, like, yeah, that is a one-of-a-kind picture. I've never seen a picture like that of Donald Trump. And it's him. So
Hold on.
see if we can pull that up.
I'm working on it.
Well, let's see if we can work together. Hold on.
Is that it, Michael? Is that what you're talking about?
No. Go click the options and go to page 1.
The option of the page.
The 3 blue bars are your options. Click that. See that 3 blue bars right there? Click that.
Yeah,
Start at page 1.
page, okay.
All right. Now go up or go down. I mean, that's my website. Now that picture right there. Y'all see it?
Yeah.
You see his picture, right?
Yeah.
Can you zoom in on that? Can you zoom in on that picture somehow?
Well, we'll see.
And y'all tell me, have you ever seen a picture of Donald Trump like that?
What's weird about that picture? It looks
Yeah.
like a typical picture to me.
Yeah, me too.
But have you ever seen a picture of Donald Trump like that, taking a picture like that in video or anything?
I think so.
Yeah, what's unusual about it?
Well, I Googled it, and there's no picture of him like that. Not one.
I've seen a bunch of them like that.
Not like that one.
Oh, you mean where it says David Landingham?
Yeah, that one.
David Landingham. Okay.
That picture.
Not the name.
That picture with his finger up saying no.
Now,
Well,
are you talking about the picture or the caption around the picture?
The where it says David Van Landingham
So
with
you're talking
Trump's
about the
picture
caption.
above it.
So you're talking about the caption. The picture looks normal. I mean, when you put the
I know the picture looks normal. Him on the Facebook picture with the name David Van Landingham. Have you ever seen him take a picture like that?
Not with that name under it, no.
Forget the name. Just look at his finger. Look how he looks. Any likeness that you ever seen that before?
I have, I believe. Not that
I had
exact
to-
picture, but
I had to Google it. I ain't never seen a picture like that, and that's when I knew. There it is. It was him. If the Secret Service told me it was him, and he was so senile to even like play like he was my cousin, and I'm like, okay, you got a picture of Donald Trump, but in the text message between me and him, he said he doesn't like Donald Trump. So if you don't like Donald Trump, then why you have a picture of Donald Trump as your profile picture? That's what I told him. I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on. Something's funny here. But this is my website. You can take a look as a breakdown of the 3-day communication between me and him, and especially you have to look at what he said on but that's December 8th. So the next page will be December 10th, and that's when he asked me to go down to the Browns game with him. He's at the Hilton downtown. He asked me to bring him weed and cocaine. When he asked that, I'm like, oh, this seemed like a setup to me. I'm not going nowhere. And yeah. And the Secret Service confirmed it was him. So, yeah.
okay.
Well, gentlemen, I have to bow out here. I got a couple
I do too.
of texts from clients that I gotta send some emails to. But,
Well-
we'll definitely see you next time.
All righty, Mike. Thank
All right,
you.
Michael, we'll see you.
Thank
Have a
you,
good
guys.
night, guys.
I'm gonna have to sign out here in a minute myself. Grab a bite to eat before I go to bed. I can't go to bed hungry.
yeah, I'm gonna
right.
drop off also. Thank you so much
Have-
for
have
having
a
me on.
good
I
one, guys.
appreciate it.
Y'all all take care. Y'all stay blessed and safe.
All right.
But I'm still here with you, Steve. I ain't going nowhere.
I'm gonna roll too, guys. I'll see you guys next time, all right?
Okay, Bob, take care.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna run too, Michael. I gotta get a bite to eat, then I'm gonna head to the bed. Appreciate you coming in, brother.
Hey, I say that I think I did a good job because I've never been had to do back-to-back interviews. Like the interview I had earlier, and then I had to come in to do this with you. And I want to make sure. That's why I texted you early on and say I might be a few minutes late, but I'll be there. But it was a great discussion.
Well, you're always welcome. Even if I forget to send you a link, you're always welcome.
I appreciate it. Let me ask you one question. Do I look better without the beard and mustache, or should I bring it back? I'm kind of stuck in between.
You're kind of biased, but yeah, I'd say bring it back.
Yeah, because I look baby faced.
Yeah, me too. That's why I always.
Yeah, I look kind of baby faced and whatnot. So I don't know. I might keep it because I'm losing hair right here because of stress. So it won't look good. So I got to cut it off. So that's the only option. Yeah.
Well, take care, my friend, and we will see you next time.
Yes, sir. God bless each and every one of you. God bless America and God bless the free world.
Good night.